What's poppin', my freeform renegades? You are tuned into the Freeform Network. Thanks for joining us for another fun episode of Freeform Radio. I'm your host, Noel, with my co host, Daniel.
Yes, sir, man. Fall is here finally. We had a couple warm days, but yeah, fall's finally here. The leaves out on front. I gotta go rake or do something or run over them with my lawnmower. But yeah, happy to be here, man.
Yes, sir. And we got Andy.
It's all good, Andy. We're glad everybody's able to join us and we're ready to talk your ears off.
Very nice. Yeah, it's another nice day here in Chicago. I don't want to say beautiful. It's getting a little colder, but hey, still nice. Wherever your listeners are, we hope you're feeling relaxed and good. And we're going to jump right into it today. So, yeah, let's go and start it off here with looks like Andy, you've been playing Black Ops 6.
I have not, but the commercials are everywhere, and I'm tempted to jump back on. It's been a couple years. Somebody at work already told me that they're gonna get it, and some other people to jump online. But the online thing's never really been my thing. I don't know, man. I've been off the wagon for so long. I don't know uh, if I'm gonna do it. But we should be able to get it. I'm debating to get it just to jump on that bandwagon. I don't know. You guys are the gamers, so I mean, like always, like it's the new Call of Duty, Black Ops, 6 apparently. And then the Modern Warfare's like I played those religiously through PS3 and PS4. Um, what do you guys think? The PS5, I got one. Should I jump on this or? It's the same old story, and then just the online stuff.
I haven't played a Call of Duty in so long, man. And even when I did, it was my friends. It was in my copy. And I don't know, like, it's a fun game, I guess. But if you're not competitive, I don't even know if it's worth it to really get into it. But to each their own.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I love the story modes. They're usually quick hitters. I like getting the trophies. If that's still a thing, I don't know. But yeah, I mean that's my thing. The online, I'm always been hesitant. I did play it every once in a while. That's just a little bit too crazy for me. Thoughts, Danny? I know you were playing it for a while. I know it's not your bread and butter, but have you given it thoughts? You're going to be wait till it's on a cheaper level price wise.
Yeah, for sure. I usually play them, but I play them when they're like $10, $20. Because I only play the campaign. I don't do any multiplayer. I actually have queued up in my taskbar right now Black Ops 5, so the one that came out before this, because I believe they even gave it away as part of like PlayStation membership. So I got it queued up. I'm just finishing up a game now, but I ended up jumping into something else. But yeah, Black Ops is there next. I'm just gonna go through the campaign. Like you said, usually they're pretty short, maybe like 4 hours, I would say,
Yeah.
and about maybe like 6 or 8 if it's like really, really in depth. But yeah, they're usually pretty good, the campaigns.
Yeah, they usually, like I said, my thing is the shooters. The campaign modes and a lot of those games are always quick. I mean, I don't know hours, but I know those games I would finish religiously. Um, the online stuff, I know that's the new thing. It's been the thing, not the new thing, but it's the thing for a while. Um, but yeah, I mean, the Black Ops, it's like we were talking about in the when we started recording it's the fall season. It's November, so usually that's when you start hearing all these new games come out. Usually Call of Duty's like one of them, like every year or something, or every 2 years they got something coming out where it's just like trying to maximize that Black Friday, Christmas season uh, sales because everybody wants it for Christmas. But I think this is out already, right? I don't even know. I just know I hear commercials for it and I see commercials and I hear people talking about it. I'm guessing it's out.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if it's out or not. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me see. Let me look it up. I'm pretty sure it's out. Because during football they have. I've seen some of the commercials too. Um,
Yeah, there's a big like commercial trying to get the word out. Um, yeah, because I think the game before this was like totally online, and this is their return back to having a campaign or something like that. I don't really keep up too much with Call of Duty. I know Junior just started getting into it a little bit because his friends are into playing that
Yeah.
too.
Initial release was October 25.
Okay, cool.
So, and it has yeah, it's everywhere. I haven't even seen the review. Usually, I do pretty good reviews. When someone told me, yeah, the zombies thing is back, so that was pretty cool too on one of the older ones. Um, but yeah, man, like I said, let us know what you guys think. I know Black Ops, in Modern Warfare, like I've always played the Call of Duties, but I remember Modern Warfare was pretty sweet. And then the Black Ops too. The Black Ops I always found it a little bit more challenging. But needless to say, they were pretty good.
Yeah, the Black Ops 5, that's the one with Ronald Reagan in it, where they do like a Ronald Reagan actor, and he's one of the characters in the game. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's the one I'm planning to play next.
Let us know what you guys think at ffnquestions@gmail.com. Um, should this be a buy for the Christmas season, or for those who have kids, is this something you buy your kids or you buy for yourself? So I want to move it over a little bit to the final push for the elections coming up this week of the recording. So when this drops, we're gonna have a new president, regardless, president elect, regardless. Just this last week, I can't believe some of the stuff coming out of both sides. Uh, we had a family party last night, and I heard some of our friends and listeners tell me that they wish the debate, with the VP debate, they missed the civility of it. They were gentlemen and they had this discussion, and they were not. I don't want to say nice, but they had their points, and none of this crap like with Trump and Kamala. He's this guy, and she's she's low IQ, and now with the whole Puerto Rican thing at the rally at MSG, and then the president, Biden, saying his comments about Trump supporters. Now the thing with they took out of context with Trump with Liz Cheney, and I saw something this morning. Kamala was trending because she was on SNL last night. And that was just like okay, is Saturday Night Live still a thing? So I don't know, man. It's just this election Tuesday, the day of the recording. The election is going to be Tuesday. A lot of turnout for early voting. It looks like I'm shocked how many people turned out. Uh, I'm gonna try to vote early on Tuesday. Because I know after work is probably gonna be crazy. Usually the polls are pretty open early where I live. Um, I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a close one, and I think it's gonna be contested on both sides. So let's see what happens. Praying everything goes all right because we just need some. We need we need a break for the Christmas season, because I think we're just tired. The country's burnt out on this, and just like we just need something with a quick resolution and a decisive result so we can know what's going to happen next. And I think we're starting to see that reflected on businesses and all this. People are, I think, scared to buy stuff, and it's having an impact on the economy.
Yeah, I think so too. Have you gone out to vote, Noel? Are you planning to?
I'm not entirely sure yet. I want to say in the best of scenarios, it would make a difference, but I don't know, man. I don't want to get too deep in it either, just because it's very divisive. I actually also had discussions with family and friends recently, and yeah, it's very divisive, man. And we're obviously on different sides. My side of it, man, I just want what's best for America, and I'm not necessarily sure either of these two can bring that. Um, One to me is worse than the other, but I'm not gonna say who I think that is. I think you guys know who I'm talking about, but yeah, man, I don't know. I might. I'm still on the fence about it.
Yeah, I know I haven't gone, and Alana had brought it up to me last week. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go vote," and I told her, let's go on Tuesday. Just because the last election, at least out here by us, it wasn't. Well, to be honest, yeah, the last time there was a presidential, I was still living at the old house, but it wasn't that huge. It was just kind of small. There wasn't a lot of people. But like you said, Andy, I know there's a big turnout for early voting, so I'm not sure how it's going to be on Tuesday. But yeah, my plan was to go Tuesday after work and go vote.
Well, the last presidential, we were still under COVID, so everybody was mailing in their crap, and that's why that whole thing went down. But this one, I think people are now like, I'm not gonna do that. That's why they're going to the polls, and that's gonna be. I think that's going to be the issues. I think the polls are going to get overwhelmed because already the early voting, there was long lines. Everybody that we talked to that voted said they had to wait a while. So I can imagine the day of. Then like the whole thing with the ID stuff. That's one thing I didn't ask if you got to show ID. Every time I voted here, I haven't had to show it. So this time I'm interested to know what's going to happen. And then the other thing is talking about the discourse and people. I don't know what happened. Obviously, everybody has their own point of view, and that's why I guess the old rule is you don't talk about politics and religion because shit gets heated. But yeah, I mean, I talk to a ton of people I don't agree with their views, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna like, I can't believe you do this. Like, I'm gonna cut you off. Like screw you. Like, I'm like, okay. You want to hear what they're thinking. You want to get their. Not that necessarily you're gonna change your mind. It might happen, but generally people don't change their mind, especially when they're older, like me and Danny. But you get a different point of perspective of why they believe what they believe. So, um, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I'm me, I make jokes about it, but what am I gonna say? Like, don't vote that way. Like, are you an idiot or something? Like, I'm not gonna say anything like that. So,
Yeah,
it is what it is, man. You get to vote for whoever you want.
yeah, I think it's a little tough because it is so polarizing and divisive, and it's tough to for something so serious to kind of align yourself one way or the other. And I know that it can be very difficult to convey that to other people, especially if they don't align with you. You might get very you know, defensive and things could get ugly. So it depends how open the person is on the other side to really converse and talk about it and talk about the opposites and kind of have a good discussion on it. But yeah, I really try to not speak a lot of politics. And like you mentioned, I was at your dinner thing yesterday, and when we started talking politics, I kind of walked away, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to get in this conversation.
Danny's like, I don't want to get disowned.
Yeah, even though most of the people did think the same, uh, I knew that there were a few people that did not, and I didn't want to alienate anybody, especially since we were all really close friends. I didn't want to have any kind of problems or anything. Who they vote for, that's on them. If they want to openly speak with it, I'm willing to talk and listen, and I'm not going to get upset if they're voting for a person that I'm not agreeing with.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, like it's we're amongst friends and family, and so to me, I'm just like everybody has a different point of view. But yeah, the thing is, it's like in this country, it's so polarizing lately, and you see people on social media post things and people complaining, Trump broke up their family because their parents are gonna vote Trump and they're voting for another way, and just like I'm not gonna talk to him, and it's just like this is insane. It's just like um uh or they're gonna vote for Waltz, my daughter. I can't. Have to disown her or something. Like I'm just like, what the hell is going on in this country, And it's it's gonna be interesting to see what's going on in let us know how you guys vote, and then the election's coming up, and hopefully everything goes smoothly. Which I think that's my biggest concern because I don't think it is, and we'll go from there. But let's change it up here. We're going to go a little bit more back to gaming here. Danny got Metro 2033 redo game. To me, this sounds like a PC game, but I don't think Danny plays PC stuff. So, what's that about, Danny?
Heck no, man. I don't play PC games. I played a few in my life, but not too many. I think Noel's more of the PC gamer, and Junior is as well. He does the majority of his gaming on PC. But yeah, I think it's a French word, redux or redux, or
Redo.
is it redo? Is that how you
Yeah.
pronounce it?
Redux is not right. I know that.
Are you sure?
I went to
I
some college. I'm not 100% sure.
Nice, nice. Well, what about that movie with Charlie Sheen? The Isn't that Redux
Part
as well?
due. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
DUX. Yeah, but it's due.
Okay. I'm not sure, but I would take your opinion over mine because I barely
That's
passed English.
education, man.
I barely passed English. But yeah, Metro 2033 Redux, as I say it. It came out in 2010, so it's been out for a minute. Came out on like PlayStation 4. It's really an older game, to be honest. It came out originally just Metro 2033, and then the Redux is when they remastered it. That was in 2014, the remaster, but the original came out in 2010. I played it once for like a good hour or two, and then I just kind of fell off of it and never finished it. Well, now I was looking for something to play, and I jumped in, started playing it, got hooked. It's a dated game, so when you see it, you kind of gotta hold it up to that light. But the story is really good. It's basically nukes drop. So these civilizations, it's based in Europe, so the civilization goes underground to live as the winter, you know, nuclear winters is up above ground. And so there's like mutant beasts and people are fighting over resources. It's a pretty good story. It's pretty linear. It's one of the first, I believe they got 3 games out in the Metro series, and they're just about to release a VR version of it. So I really got hooked this time, started playing it, got all the way to the end. And the thing that sucks about this game in particular that happened to me is there's a game breaking bug at the very end. And I
But
got
it's not done?
no, by game breaking, I mean that I can't finish the game. I'm kind of stuck. So
Is this the
I,
80s?
so I'm going through, and every time I go through this corridor, this beast just spawns out of nowhere. It's like a glitch that he spawns, and he like instant kills me. And so I Googled around and I found some forums, and a couple of people had ways to get around it. So I tried it and it worked. I was able to get around this thing. So I finished the corridor, go up. Another mission later is the final mission where you gotta fight against this final boss. I get to the final boss. You're really weak. You kind of fall to the ground, and you have like this illusion of somebody handing you a gun, and the guy's like something like, if it's hostile, kill it. So you turn around and you face the final enemy, and you got this gun that the guy gave you that you hallucinated of, and you're supposed to bring your gun upright and shoot, but the game crashes at that point. I tried like 5 times. I tried reloading my game. I tried preloading a different gun because I had read in some forums that depending on what gun you have, when he hands you the other gun, it crashes because it doesn't know how to handle the animation. I was even close to uninstalling the game and reinstalling because some people were saying do that. And I just got so frustrated. I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to act like I beat this game because I Googled it and I saw a video of the ending, and it's like literally just like another minute or two of like a cutscene, and that's the end of the game. So it's kind of disappointing to not be able to finish it, get that trophy to pop for beating the game. But yeah, it was a pretty good game otherwise, but it's kind of dated, and this bug appears to have been there since 2010.
And they never updated it?
They never, I guess they were never able to cleaned it up to the point where it wasn't a problem.
Mm.
Uh, Not sure if you heard the game, Noel. Do you know Metro 2033?
I know of it. I actually do have it in my Steam library, but I've just never played it yet. But I was getting around to it, and now that you're talking about it, yeah, I'm kind of worried now. I'm like, dang, should I even try putting this much time into it if I can't even beat the game? Like, maybe I won't get the bug, but what if I do? That's a bummer, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're excited for the next game. This is all first person shooter, so I'm interested in playing the next one, which is called Last Light.
Oh yeah, I
But
think I have that too.
I may pass it up for now. Like I was telling Andy with this Call of Duty talk, I'm thinking about playing Call of Duty Black Ops 5, the one with Ronald Reagan, and see who he wants me to kill. So that might be the next game I play after this.
Very nice, man. Yeah, definitely give us the review on that.
Yeah, but Metro, very good. Voice acting, it's European, so there's a lot of Russian, Yugoslavian. There's a German, so there's a lot of German talk. So subtitles are definitely on because some people talk in their native tongue, and I can't understand what the hell they're talking about. So subtitles are on. Very good atmosphere. I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually, even though I got this game-breaking bug, I'm still excited to play Last Light because it was a pretty good story. So we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure um, when I'll get back to it, but I'll definitely have to come and visit Last Light after a few games. The other thing I wanted to bring up, man, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Wendy's right now they got their drinks for $1, and they have a partnership with Coca-Cola, so they have that mix machine where you can get any flavor drink that you want. That's a Coca-Cola brand. You could put like cherry, vanilla, lemon. You got all these like different flavors that you can put into your normal fountain drink. So uh, I've gone a few times. Usually after work, I'll stop by, get a Sprite for Alana, put like vanilla in it, and then get a Sprite for Junior, put some cherry in it, and then I usually get like a ginger ale or something. But what's weird, man, it's happened to me twice already. I'll pull up to the one close to my work and I'll put the order. It's just three drinks. I don't order any food, nothing. It's just three drinks, large drinks. I pull up to the window. I already gave them my order at the speaker, so they know that it's for the drinks. I pull up to the window and they ask me to move up. They're like, "Oh, can you
For
park in?"
drinks?
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, can you park in that spot up there? We'll bring you the drinks out." And I'm like, "Okay." And I pulled up, and I'm just thinking, like, why am I pulling up? It's just drinks. Like, I mean, I don't understand why I can't just wait by the window. And I get it that it's the mix thing, so you can't just press Sprite and the thing comes out. You got to do that mix button or whatever. Or I've done it at stores before. Like, we were talking about TVK yesterday, and the one in Des Plaines has that Coca-Cola machine, and you can mix any flavors you want together. So it does take a minute because you got to press like four button prompts for the size. Do you want ice, and then what flavors you want to mix in? So it takes a minute. But I just thought it was kind of odd that they made me move up. I felt like, do I got a complicated order here where I'm one
Hell
of those
yeah.
people now?
Ginger ale. The fuck orders that?
But it's pretty good for $1. Carbonated drink, it's pretty good. Usually my go-to is McDonald's because they also have theirs for $1, but for theirs you got to use the app, otherwise you don't get it for $1.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, the days of dollar drinks are definitely done. Except for Wendy's, it looks like they're back for a minute.
Have you tried the new Big Mac, the chicken one?
No, but that does look really
I do
good.
want to try it. We try to go out to eat like once a week, and like one of these days, I'm like, can we just go to McDonald's so I can get that Big Mac, the chicken one, because I read that the patty is basically a big McNugget. Ever
Yep.
since I heard that, I'm like, I want to try this.
So I had it this week because I was also curious, man. I was like, dude, everybody's reviewing it, saying it's so good, and you get more value than getting the nuggets itself. I'm
Hmm.
like, all right, dude, it's really good, man. I was shocked.
I think I heard one guy just say it's just a McNugget and Big Mac sauce. I'm like, well, that sounds good to me because I like the special Big Mac sauce. So, but I haven't. I don't know how long they're gonna keep it, but it is on my list to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The other
no.
thing, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Go
Danny.
ahead. No, go ahead, man.
No, going back to Wendy's. I haven't had Wendy's in like shit before the pandemic, like 2019 or 18. And last weekend, my wife's like, "Oh, Andy likes the nuggets from Wendy's," and I'm just like, "Wendy's, like, sure, like whatever." So we go. I get one of their stupid meals. The McDonald's has that $5 one.
Oh, that $5 thing.
Yeah, so I got the biggie stack. It was like $6. And she had a coupon for like $3 off, and then she ordered them an extra set of nuggets for Andy. Um, so we get it, and of course they screw up. We don't get our nuggets. It's a drive-through order, and it was not expensive, but it wasn't good. And I get everything. It was like small, and I'm like, the McDonald's one is way better. And then they screwed up one of the nuggets. So Graciela had to go back and get Andy's nuggets because she called and complained. She's like, ain't nobody jipping me out of my nuggets. And then Andy ate all the fucking nuggets. And then they gave her one of those SpongeBob drinks. And she had, I think she tried it. She's like, this is too much sugar. So we just threw it away.
Oh, nice. I kind of dig the Wendy's burger. I know it's small, the patty, because I mean, what do you want for $5? But I think the
$6,
flavor,
man.
or
$6.
is it $6? Oh, I thought it
The
was
the
$5.
the bacon one was 5. The double stack was 6. And
Oh,
then they
you
had one for
splurged for the extra.
7. Yeah, there was one for
Okay.
7. I don't remember which one it was.
No, I just get the basic one, but yeah, I think it tastes better, the burger, to be honest, than McDonald's. I had one of those $5 at McDonald's maybe like a month ago, and that burger was so dry. I was just like, man, this doesn't taste right. Now, granted, I order it without ketchup because ketchup has a lot of sugar, and I know that can throw off a double cheeseburger, the absence of ketchup. But yeah, no, I really dug the Wendy's burger a lot better. Nuggets weren't that great, but yeah, I thought the burger was a lot better.
Yeah, my son prefers the McDonald's burger over the Wendy's. He could get that McDouble meal. He could kill that double cheeseburger. He just gets it with ketchup and cheese. He'll fucking destroy it.
Yeah,
I'm shocked, dude. I'm like, damn. He's like 2 and he's eating one of those. So I'm tempted to get him like a Whopper Junior and see how he does.
yeah, Whopper Juniors also definitely hit the spot. Those are
Yeah.
really good. But jumping on to the last thing here, Andy, um, I watched the Netflix special. This is the Zodiac speaking. This is a new documentary that just came out. Just came out like last month, so very recent, and it's about a new, well, not new, but this guy has been a suspect before. It's a guy that I've seen in other documentaries as far as, hey, is this the potential killer? But they were never able to pin it on on the guy. Uh, I forget what his first name is, but they call him Mr. Allen. And this shows the perspective of the family that he would live with and spent a lot of time with. And allegedly, one of the people from the family, he was explicitly told that, because he spoke to this guy, and he explicitly told him, like, yeah, I was the Zodiac Killer. This is many years after. But very cool documentary, shows a totally different aspects, shows a lot of the personal life of this Mr. Allen, um, and gives a lot of connecting points that kind of leads you to feel like this guy could have been the Zodiac Killer. Very strange man. Almost seems like he was, like had some mental stuff going on. But really cool documentary by Netflix. It's 3 episodes, so not too long, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well put together. I'm kind of a sucker for the Zodiac. I love seeing
I'm noticing.
I love seeing like new documentaries about it, just because he was never caught. So I
I
thought it
thought he
was.
was caught, or the FBI came out and said like, we think this is the guy. It was like some guy in like California or San Francisco or something. and like that was it. And then he died a couple years later.
Yeah, I mean, this they did have a couple different suspects. There's another documentary that I started watching after this that they make mention of in this documentary, hunting for the Zodiac or something like that, and
Hmm.
that's the one that goes through like the six main suspects, and it kind of goes into detail on each of the suspects, and that's the one that I started watching. So, um,
Because he was mailing stuff to the newspapers in California, right?
yeah, he would mail
Yeah.
what do they call them? Like these puzzles,
Yeah.
ciphers,
Yes.
where he uses symbols and
Hmm.
different backwards letters, and you have to kind of decipher what each symbol means to know what the letter says. So there's still a few that have never been solved. It might just be gibberish, to be honest. It could definitely be that, but yeah, there's a few that have never been solved, and there's a couple that have, and it has very interesting wordings, mostly about how he's going to kill more people to feed his army, and just a bunch of crazy talk.
Do you think like we kind of talked about it off off air, like AI and all this could solve those things real quick? Do you think that have AI like what we got now and what they're hiding from us, you think it could solve shit like that?
Well, I know that the last one that just got um, decoded or whatever was just recently, like last year, and they put it in some AI algorithm that did figure it out. But allegedly, there's still like two that they have not been able to figure out
Mm,
what it says.
okay,
So there's still more out there.
cool.
It's going to be cool to see what those final ones do say, because allegedly on one of them he does put his name, but they've never been able to decode that one.
Is it
So
D's nuts?
maybe. well,
It's
well,
D and U. What? Oh shit. Maybe it's short for like Nutsberg or something.
maybe we'll have to see for that documentary, Andy. I'm sure
That'd be hilarious.
it'll be a good documentary to watch for sure. But let's jump over to Noel. Let's jump over to his week. I see you watched Avatar. Is is this the who is it? Kirk? What the hell's that? Director Cameron? Is this that movie that he did?
So no, this is based off the Nickelodeon series, the Avatar: The Last Airbender. They did do a movie live action way back, but it didn't do well. And then so they finally decided to go away from the live action movie style and do an actual TV show live action. And so it's based off the cartoon that came out back in the early 2000s. I think the cartoon came out, yeah, around 2005, lasted a few years to 2008. And then just recently, this live action one came out. I think it was like last year. Um, and it's pretty good, man. I was surprised. Typically, when I see like a live action adaptation of something that was originally animated, it's not always easy to translate that, especially because you have a lot of quirky characters that they're very animated, right? Like, and it's not always going to translate well in real life because most people don't talk that way and act that way. So I was a little skeptical, especially when they showed the cast, but it actually turned out pretty good. It surprised me, and it was interesting enough that I'm looking forward to season two. Um, and it's not a very long show either. I'm trying to find the information here, but have you guys heard about this? The live action?
I remember the cartoon. Wasn't it on Nickelodeon, right? Or did you say that?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and then I didn't know they made. But I remember when I still had cable, there was commercials for it, but I've never watched it. And I didn't know they made a live action either.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of this one. I kind of vaguely remember there was some TV show with Avatar in the name of it, but no, I don't remember seeing this one.
Yeah, so this one was 8 episodes. Actually came out this year, so sorry, it's this year that it came out. The budget looks like it was $120 million. So pretty much what you would have put in a movie, they just put in the show. And again, for what it cost, like the production was there. It was pretty good quality. The acting was decent enough, and it's one of those like it's kind of like for people like 12, 13, 14, 15, something like that. Like it's definitely geared towards like a teenage audience, but I think like even the parents of teenagers can, like it, especially if they grew up on it, which, if you were growing up watching the show in the early 2000s, by this time, yeah, you probably have kids of your own. Maybe they're not teenagers, but they're able to at least enjoy something like this in live action. So, yeah, I'd give it, maybe like a 6.9 out of 10. Not quite a 7, but still good. And I think it's subjective though. It's like if you grew up on the animated show, which that to me was like an 8, 9 out of 10. That was such a good show. It's interesting and fun. This one is like pretty well adapted. So much better than the movie that came out. That I would give like a 3 out of 10. That was dog dog trash. Just let's not swear here, but anyway, moving on. So I started playing some Metroid games. I think last episode I let you guys know about Metroid Fusion, and so there's another game that I never beat that is part of the Metroid series that I've been holding off on until I beat the Fusion, and that's Metroid Zero Mission. Have you played this one, Daniel or Andy?
Yeah,
No.
I've played it and I beat this one too. This is another great one. I think this is a DS, is it, or is it still Game Boy Advance?
I want to say it's Game Boy Advance because that's the emulator that I used at least to play it.
Okay, yeah, this is another excellent. These two, um, Fusion and Zero Mission, very good Metroid games. I really enjoyed them, and I like played as much as I could and did everything I could do on the games because they were really really good. How'd you like it?
I liked it a lot, man. When I first started it, maybe like in the first 5 minutes, I was skeptical because I mean you kind of start out with like no gear and even your like not missile but your energy blast or whatever doesn't go very far. And I'm like, oh, what the heck? Like it was weird because like normally when you shoot an energy blast, it goes across the whole screen, whereas this would only go a couple of feet away from Samus. And so I'm like, did they design it like this? Like, is this a lower budget design? I don't know. And then little by little, you acquire your weapons, you get the long range shots, the missiles, you get everything again, the super speed, and all the gadgets that you got from Super Metroid. And it's essentially, I think, a prequel to Super Metroid. And so once you play Zero Mission, Super Metroid Fusion, then you could play, I think it's Dread. So I might be playing Dread next, and then eventually I'm gonna play all the Prime games. I think it's Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3, and then 4 is coming out. So I have quite a number of games to play here, but I definitely wanted to get Zero Mission done first because it's it's um it's been just long overdue, man. Definitely enjoyable. It's like a throwback to the Super Metroid days with the sounds and the music and the atmosphere. It was really cool.
Yeah, I really dug it. This was an awesome game. Too bad that yeah, I don't know too many Game Boy Advances that still work. So probably emulation is the only way to really play it, unless it's like on the Nintendo Shop. That might be another way to play it as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Right now, actually, my the one that I'm playing in between is a Castlevania. It's a you know, and a lot of places call them Metroidvanias because they both have a similar format. So that's the one I'm playing right now. But it's very similar to Metroid.
Yeah. Have you ever played the Metroid Dread?
No, that's probably one of that one, and I believe Prime 2 and 3. Those are the ones that I've never played and never beat. But I am interested in playing Dread. I've heard really good stuff about it. I heard it's not as good as the other Metroids, but it's still very good. So I'm kind of excited to play that one day.
Yeah, man. I'm tempted to get a Nintendo Switch, but I'm wondering if the Switch 2 will be compatible to the one with the games, because then I might as well just get a Switch 2 when that comes out. But yeah, I'm curious, man, because I don't know any other way to play all these
Wasn't
games, right?
the GameCube play advanced games? Or was it just Game Boy? I don't remember.
Um, I'm not sure. See, the thing is, I use emulators. I don't use the official hardware anymore. And
Mm.
the emulator I'm using in the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck has like this thing called MU Station or something like that. And Yeah, I just got all these emulators that I've been using. I'm thinking of getting the Wii. That way I can get Metroid Prime 2 and 3 on it, but I don't know yet. We'll see how that plays
The
out.
Super Nintendo, the mini, I think they had Metroid 2. I don't know if I can remember. I got it. I just it's mint in box still, but yeah, I don't think I thought I saw Metroid like 2 and some other Metroid, or was just that one I don't remember.
If it was a Super Nintendo Mini, it would probably have Super Metroid. If it was a Nintendo Mini, that one could have 1 and 2.
It was the Super Nintendo because they advertised it, and then they advertised it with the unreleased Star Fox 2, and that was weird too.
Huh.
Let me see here.
Yeah, I think if you get the primes, you should really get the like they remastered them with like some upres 1080p because yeah, the original one for Wii, I think it was like 720 or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard about that, the updated ones.
Yeah, Super Metroid. That's what it had,
Yeah, that's one of the best ones,
and
man.
a Legend and their Zelda.
Actually, I started playing that one too recently on the Steam Deck. I've never beaten it. I've always made it far. Growing up, I played it a lot, and even as an adult, I played a little bit, but I never officially beat uh, Link to the Past, and that's like the one that I'm like very set on finally beating. So I'll get you guys an update on that one once I get it
Man, I'm
done.
going through the list right here, man. It's pretty fucking sweet. Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream, Secret of Mana, Street Fighter 2, Mario Kart, Mario World, Final Fantasy, Super Castlevania 4, F-Zero, Earthbound, Mega Man X, Star Fox 2, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Mario RPG, Super Metroid, Super Punch Out, Legend of Zelda, and Yoshi's Island. It's pretty
Yeah,
solid, man.
that's a real solid list.
I was like, I'm looking at
Yes.
the list, like, dang, there's some good shit in this one. And the mini, anyway.
I'm sure the resale is probably really good right now too.
So they claim it here. They have it at Walmart for 100, but I think it's like through a third party.
Ah,
On eBay
okay.
they have it for 212. Uh, so I don't know. 8-bit Hero 120, eBay 212, and then the knockoffs that you could find from China. I got
Oh
a
yeah.
stick that was Super Nintendo games, and it had like 600 games. It had a lot of Super Nintendo games in there in the controller, but it was okay. Not all of them. It had a lot more Nintendo games than Super Nintendo. Once I got in there and started messing around with it, I only paid like $10 for it on Temu.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably using an emulator for sure.
Hmm.
But no, yeah, they're getting so good, man. Now the emulators, but I mean, it is nice to have hardware. So that little the Super Nintendo Mini, that's pretty nice, dude.
Yeah, that's what I
And
said. The emulator's always been iffy with me. I don't know because I had piece of shit computers, but you got a gaming computer, so it might be different.
yeah, it depends what you're playing, but even a small computer, like a modern cheap computer, could still do all the emulation of like Nintendo and all that
Yeah.
stuff pretty well. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing that like beats the OG hardware, in terms of like just smooth compatibility. But
Yeah, we're like no issues, nothing, or the thing just gets stuck. Like I've had
yeah,
that happen a lot.
yeah, yeah, it's a bummer. But I mean, emulation is getting better and better. I think one of these days I might get the Switch emulator and see how that works. But one thing I finally got that was I've been on my list, my wish list for a minute was a 4K dedicated player. I've been using the PS5 for 2 years about, and the Panasonic UB420. It has HDR, HDR10 plus. It's got a bunch of features, up res, upscale, and I was like, okay, let me look into this. It went on sale with Best Buy. I had a gift card. I'm like, boom, get this done, and I got it like pretty much for like $100. So yeah, it was
Nice.
really good
Oh.
purchase.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I already tested it out yesterday. It's playing great, dude. I tested it out on some old DVDs, man, and it up-res pretty well, dude. Now, I'm not gonna say it's like amazing, right? It doesn't look 4K. It still looks like a DVD, but it looks like a clear DVD on a 77-inch 4K TV. So that's saying something. Prior to this, I was using the PS5, and it was very, you could see all these jaggies. You could see the color is not that smooth. It was lacking. Whereas this dedicated player, testing it side by side, I'm like, yup, it definitely looks better. And I just still got to tweak some settings, but it's off to a great start. And really quick, I'll wrap it up here. I'm just gonna sum up my week here. I watched this movie called Siddhartha. Have you guys ever watched this movie before?
No,
So, like, did you guys ever read the book Siddhartha in high school?
not that I
No.
recall.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
remember this one.
oh wow. Yeah, I was telling to my cousin too that like I watched this movie and I read the book in high school and he didn't even read it either. I'm like, man, dude, why were we forced to read this book? Nobody else was. The hell? But it was actually a good book, man, and enough so that it stuck with me to pick up the movie. I saw the movie back in high school as well, right after we read the book as a class. And just really quick, like 1 minute recap: this guy who was born as a rich, wealthy Indian man decided to leave his family to become kind of like a monk or like a yogi. And he wants to attain enlightenment. He wants to find Buddha. He wants to find inner peace and nirvana. And so he leaves his family and his wealth and he goes and lives just like a beggar, a poor person, barely scraping by. He kind of unkempt, super long beard, very different from the way he grew up. And at a certain point, he comes across this woman who kind of sparks an interest in his wanting and desiring things, right? And he's coming to become like a man and all that. And so he goes with her and becomes more of what he was before. He becomes wealthy again. He becomes just kind of like modern how he was growing up. And at a certain point it brings about chaos in him and he rejects all that. He's like, my whole point was to find enlightenment and I've kind of strayed away from it. And so he eventually, at the end of the movie, does go back to a simplistic life, and he ends up pretty much living out the rest of his days doing a very like the most simple of jobs that means the most to him. And it's like a ferry crossing, like crossing a river, like one of those ferries. And it's like not like a rowboat, but it's like a raft that you kind of use as like paddle to like move around. Um, and he does it day in and day out and he learned that peace was attained through simple means, simple life, low expectations, and just understanding that suffering is a cycle, it's a part of life, and it's and just kind of looking at the world in a more deep way. And so it always stuck with me as a kid. Growing up, the book was good, the movie was good, and the upscale on this 4K player was very good. I was really surprised. So if you guys ever get a chance to watch that movie, it's like an hour and a half. It's or hour 20, something like that. Definitely worth watching. Give it like a 7 out of 10. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the week, man. And speaking of a simple life, let's get into the article of the week. So we got an article here from Earth.com. The article is titled "Electro Agriculture Grows Food in the Dark with 94% Less Land Required." So this is an article by Eric Rawls. He's a staff writer for Earth.com. And so pretty much I'm just going to kind of sum up this article here. It is a little lengthier, so I do recommend people that are interested in this, if that headline catches your attention, give it a listen, or I'm sorry, give it a read, and you're going to get some interesting information out of this. But just kind of sum it up here. So they're thinking about doing this electro agriculture for food production, and it kind of says here is like, what if plants could be genetically modified to consume an organic molecule produced by solar powered chemical reaction that converts CO2 more efficiently than photosynthesis? The idea is that electroagriculture, our reliance on land will decrease drastically. And if you imagine 94% reduction in land needed for agriculture, if all the food in the US were produced using this method, um, It says harvesting sunshine via electro agriculture. Um, Jinkerson, a biological engineer, talks about moving agriculture to the next phase of technology, one that steps away from nature and take advantage of controlled indoor environments through electro agriculture. And it would use solar panels that have a chemical reaction that produces this thing called acetate, which can be used for the plants to, you know, produce, I guess, the yields, the crops, and all that stuff. Acetate is a molecule that's similar to vinegar, and it's going to be used for hydroponically to grow plants. For those that don't know what hydroponically means, it's typically using just like a liquid medium, like water or some kind of liquid fertilizer, versus using conventional like dirt. And there's other methods as well. There's like the in between where people use like coconut fiber, and they use like still somewhat hydroponic, but it's like a medium that's in between soil and pure hydroponic, which is just pure liquid fertilizer. But it does go into detail here. I'm not going to go super crazy into it. I think people should read it. It is interesting. Mainly, I bring it up because if you guys have read it, I just want to get your thoughts on it. What do you think this means for the future in terms of if we do maybe not immediately move away completely from conventional farming, but if we do move little by little closer to this, that would be less pesticides in our food. That'd be more reliable, more high quality food because it's measured by the dosage, and supposedly more efficient and better for the plants. And then just not the need for any kind of sunlight would mean that if a disaster were to happen, we would have a way to still feed the population. If we had a nuclear winter, if we had a Yellowstone eruption or something, and then we did have this like winter for 7 years, our land would pretty much be useless, but underground or indoor could be still very useful. So I'm gonna throw it over to you guys. What do you guys think about all this?
Yeah, I think it's cool because they're doing it right now with from the article, tomatoes and lettuce, and they're hoping to go to mushroom, yeast, algae next because they're real compatible with this technology, and then even pass on to like potatoes and other grains. So it sounds promising. I mean, this is all way above my head of what I understand. But man, it's super exciting because I'm a veggie guy. At Andy's dinner party yesterday, I was the one that kept picking at the veggie tray, trying to eat that bad boy. And man, I could dig me some good vegetables.
Yeah, the only thing I don't think, I mean, it's nice the using less like dirt and earth stuff, but I think farming's too big that I think it's just the way we process all that stuff is why it's we have so many health issues here in this country. But I do like the the plants and the fruit or the the vegetables be better for you. I think the ones we would grow on a farm are good for you. It's just what we do to them with the pesticides and all that other crap. I to this day I don't know. I know what I've been told. Like they use it to so bugs won't get to them, but it's just they do all sorts of stuff to food now. I don't even know. I can't keep up with it. Um, I don't know. That's why this is pretty cool for people like in big cities. Like you could probably do something similar, um, like in the rooftops and all that. A lot of big cities do, but I don't know. I mean, when you the way I saw it, I just thought a lot of like in the dark. The thing that instantly brought came to my head was people who grow marijuana, like in basements and shit, and like that when they make it, they produces this smell because they're using like special fertilizers and stuff. Um, that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know this to be something similar with these plants, like lettuce and tomatoes and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I think it's cool as well that it's a smaller footprint. So to your point, Andy, you could do this on an apartment roof, and be able to have a little mini garden there to be able to feed yourself and sustain yourself. This weekend, actually, with the fall weather sneaking in now, it was my last harvest. So I grabbed all my last tomatoes that I had. I got my garden broken down, put all the old branches inside um, for recycling and whatnot. But yeah, man, having a garden is definitely a blessing because you could definitely feed yourself and provide a lot of nutritious food, you know, for just some effort of water and just maintaining it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Our families growing up, like using the land and making tomato plants and chili plants and all sorts of stuff. So it's definitely nice to see that it'll only increase the ability for the average person to be able to have something like this in the future. I think the more this is ironed out, um, I think the easier it'll be for the average person to be able to use, their basements or whatever, an indoors greenhouse or something, and be able to get, some food into
Eh,
your house without having to always go out and get it. And then if there are food shortages or if something happens, at least we'll be covered that way. So
like I said, this technology, I don't want to call it technology, but what they're talking about, I mean, the only thing that, like I said, pops in my head is marijuana growers before it started getting legalized everywhere. And then to the other two is I know a lot of people the last couple years uh, they've been growing like stuff in their basements. Like there was this hotel in the Chicago that the word I hate, repurposed their basement to grow mushrooms. Um, and like part of their business is like these mushrooms became like really in demand and they're like really tasteful and like they had a great taste and they really
were they
focused
the
on
magic variety?
no for like cooking like food
I know.
mushrooms.
I
And
know.
they went in there and it was like this damp cold basement and like they had the temperature controlled and it was in the dark and there was like all these like dirt on like tables and stuff and that guy would go in there and he's like, yeah, this is like high end mushrooms here. So and I was like, damn, like, and he sold to a lot of restaurants. Because I think people are always willing to pay companies. They're always willing to pay premium for premium product. So if your tomatoes are really nice and sweet and all that, people will come and pay for them. We have a neighbor here that they have a garden. She's a big the neighbors are big. They're into like pickling, I guess I call it, where they put fruits in jars. They gave us some of their pickles from she did from her last year's garden. Man, them fuckers things are good and crunchy. They're really, really good. The canyon, I guess I should say.
Yeah, no, when you know what you're doing, man, it comes out like phenomenal. But you do have to know what you're doing because it could very easily go sideways when you can stuff improperly. And I don't want to like freak you out or anything, right? So I'm not going to go into detail of what it could be. But canning is when you ferment stuff and when you pickle stuff and when you can stuff and there's a process to do it. I think my mom does it too for her salsa. I think it's called baña maria or something like that. It's like you do like a pasteurization of sorts to kill any kind of bacteria. So it's definitely cool though. I think it's definitely like worth doing if you know what you're doing. But yeah, don't take it lightly for anyone out there that's gonna start getting into canning. Look into it pretty
No,
well.
my wife, she's I don't know. I gotta come up with a word. A freezer. She freezes everything. I mean, like she'll freeze everything: bread, tomatoes, rice, meat, like cooked meat. Uh, like the other day I was going through the freezer. I was looking for like chicken nuggets or something for Andy, and then I saw there was like tomatoes in here. I'm like, what the fuck are these tomatoes? And she's like, oh yeah, they're from like the garden from a couple years ago. I'm like, are these still even good? Yeah, as long as you don't thaw them out. And once we thaw them out, we gotta cook them. But yeah, they're still good. I'm just like this is insane. Like, and there's like bread in there and shit, and I'm just like, okay. So I mean, it's an interesting take. So, but everybody does their own thing. But the canning and the pickling, that's a whole nother thing that's been around forever. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into that.
Yeah, with canning, I think the good part about it is that you don't need refrigerant for it, so you can just put them up on your shelf if you pickle it correctly or at least jar it correctly. But yeah, I'm the same way. We freeze a bunch of tomatoes. We've been freezing tomatoes all year long just because we've had a really good harvest this year of tomatoes, and it's just too much. We can't eat that fast. So yeah, even this last harvest that I just did a day or so ago, we're probably gonna have to freeze the majority of
Make
that.
some pizza sauce, bro. Make some pizzas.
Yeah, we usually like do pastas, or we'll do like a rich chili with some tomatoes and stuff.
Yeah, making real quick spaghetti sauce or pasta sauce not that hard. I always thought it was hard, and I saw this recipe off of like crushed tomatoes and all this. It's just basically a couple seasonings and like that was it.
Right. No, for sure.
But we gotta get going here, guys. We want to thank you for listening. Remember, you can follow Freeform Network on Facebook and X at Freeform Network, and send your questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. Let us know if you're canning, pickling, freezing. What do you guys do? Let us know up there and give us some tips because apparently Noel's afraid to can and pickle stuff. Visit our webpage at freeformnetwork.podbean.com. There, we're on every platform imaginable and some. However you listen to us, subscribe, comment, share. That helps us out immensely. Freeform Radio, we want to thank Danny.
Yes, sir, man. Gonna get some football in. We'll see if the Bears can right the ship here and get this going in the right direction.
We got Noel.
Hey, thank everybody for listening. I'm gonna go ahead and test out some more of these movies on this 4K player and give you guys some reviews for the next one.
And this is It's All Good, Andy. We want to thank you for listening. Just a reminder, send questions and suggestions at ffnquestions@gmail.com. And we'll catch you all next time. And hopefully by the time we record next time, there's still a country. So see you guys. Have a good go out and vote.
That was cool, Dad.